These are my top 5 muscle building habits I can't live without. Over the last decade of training, I've boiled down the most important things to me personally to make sure I continue to build muscle and make progress. And these have also worked for a ton of my clients as well. Habit number 1 is going to be sleep. Now, I know this is a weird spot to start the video, but trust me, sleep is probably one of the most overlooked things when it comes to building muscle. A lot of people think the gym is where muscle is built, but that's actually where it's broken down. And then everything else we do outside of that, the rest of the day, and most importantly, when we sleep, that's when the muscle is being rebuilt and repaired. The first thing I do is make sure to keep the room nice and cold. So even in winter, I'll generally have the fan going a little bit, because for us to fall asleep, our core body temperature has to come down a bit. So I personally find this just helps me fall asleep quicker and better. Number 2 is keeping the room nice and dark. So we have these blackout curtains that work a treat. And if you can't get those, just grab a $2 eye mask. That works pretty good as well. And number 3 is having a wake up time. And lastly, I simply just try not to have caffeine after lunchtime, because it has a very long half-life and it affects our sleep quality way more than we think. Number 2, eating a minimum of double my body weight in protein. Now I'm talking kilograms here, not pounds. So for example, if I weigh 80 kilograms, then I want to be eating a minimum of 160 grams of protein every single day. If you weigh yourself in pounds, then this is about 1 gram per pound of your body weight every single day. Now this habit for me is 100% set in stone, non-negotiable, and hasn't changed for the last 10 plus years. Because without enough protein, you will literally not build muscle at all. Like, it is impossible to continue to build muscle without a sufficient amount of protein. And of course, there is a whole host of other beneficial things that it does, but let's be real, you mainly care about the muscle building, so just do it for that. Now, I'm not too fussed on how I get the 160 grams of protein in per day, as long as I do. But to be honest with you, in an ideal world, I would space this out in between about 3 to 4 meals per day. So this might look something like a shake, or usually for me, it's protein oats in the morning, and then lunch, it's something with chicken sandwiches, chicken and rice, etc. Then in the Arvo, it's probably some kind of protein snack, which is usually some YoPro with fruit or something like that. And then with dinner, I always try to get some red meat in, especially recently, which is just a personal thing, you don't have to. So for me, it's something like spag bowl, mince, homemade burgers, something like that, steak, etc. And that's generally how I try to space it out. But like I was saying, it doesn't really matter as long as I get it in. So if I'm insanely busy and it's crammed into 3 meals and maybe a shake, that's totally fine as well. This is the biggest gym bro habit ever, but it is an absolute non-negotiable. Make sure you hit your protein target. Now, of course, you can go a little bit lower than 2 grams per kilogram body weight, but like I always say, you don't want to be trying to continually do the bare minimum. Like, that's a bad habit to develop, in my opinion. Always trying to get away with the bare minimum. So 2 grams is a little bit on the higher side. You're going to be a lot safer in that regards. And in my opinion, it's just a lot more beneficial, and you're going to be fuller for longer as well. So especially if you're trying to lose body fat and build muscle at the same time, 2 grams per kilogram body weight is going to be key. So habit number 3 is going to be weight training a minimum of 4 times per week, every single week. Now, I know this one sounds like a given. You got to weight train, duh, Alex. But honestly, the amount of people that I speak to on a daily and weekly basis that have the goal of building muscle and are so inconsistent with their training is insane. The only time over the last decade plus that I wouldn't train 4 times a week or more is if I was generally bedridden and sick. This means that if I had an injury, I would still train, and I would just train around it. Or if I went on holiday, I was still going to be training whilst on holiday. I know some people think that's crazy. When you're on holiday, you're meant to be having a vacation from your life. But if you enjoy training and the goal is to build muscle, keep it long term, I highly recommend still training on holiday. And in my opinion, it's one of the best parts, because you get to experience new gyms. It's a great way to meet new people, and it's just a good start to your day when you're on holiday. Now, I'll be 100% honest, that's just me. That's my personal preference of training at least 4 times per week, every single week. But you can definitely still build some good muscle on 2 to 3 times per week if you are consistent with it. But what you can't do, and this is what I see happen quite a lot, is you can't train consistently for a month and then take 2 weeks off because you had a holiday, and then come back and do 3 weeks, and then you have 10 days off because you got sick, and then I was a little bit slow getting back into it. And that kind of inconsistency will not allow you to build a solid muscle, allow you to build solid muscle and a good foundation over the years. Habit number 4 is going to be keeping the same movements in my program for a long period of time. For example, this shoulder press machine, neutral grip, feels amazing for my delts and even a little bit of triceps. So I've been keeping this in my program for a long time. Honestly, this has probably been here for like 4, probably 5 months now. And it's been first on the shoulder day, shoulders and arms day. And that's made a world of difference, because when I first started, I was doing like half the stack. Now I'm about to hopefully hit the whole stack. And I'm gonna be honest, I can't stack any of the machines in this gym. They're heavy as fuck and I'm just a little bitch. But this, because I've kept it first in my program, it's allowed me to progress really, really well and just keep building every week. But if I did this first in my program for a few weeks and then went to like a dumbbell shoulder press for a few weeks and then to like a Smith machine press for a few weeks and then came back, even though I still might have been getting stronger, there's no way I would be able to progress as good and as fast as I did if you keep the same movements in the program. So it has helped so much keeping at least 1 to 2 movements per muscle group the exact same for as long as humanly possible. And honestly, I'm just gonna keep doing this until I'm so bored of it that it's driving me crazy, then I'll switch it. But if you can keep it in for longer, the better. So let's actually see if I can do the whole stack. This will be a PR if I can. I got 7. I think that was 7. And I was going for 6 to 8, so I'll take that. Now, to be honest, this is a more recent habit that I've developed, but in my younger years when I first started training, I would change the exercises, I would change my program, and I would literally walk in and do random exercises and different workouts every single week because I thought you had to change it up. That's better. Not gonna lie, I thought it looked a little bit plain. Which leads me to habit number 5, enjoying the process. With muscle building, there are certain things that we have to do in order to build that muscle, which is pretty much the 4 habits we just spoke about. So I do try to enjoy the process as much as possible along the way. And of course, enjoying the process is gonna look different for everyone. So for me personally, I keep those other 4 habits locked in. They never really change, but then I'll add in other stuff like indoor soccer. I've been playing that since I was about 4 years old. Then I'll add in MMA and boxing and things to get out of my comfort zone that I'm not comfortable doing, but they're very, very fun and enjoyable. And that kind of spices up the training a little bit while still keeping all the other habits locked in so that I know the muscle building side is getting taken care of. And for the nutrition side of things, for me personally, to keep this enjoyable, I'll still hit my minimum protein target every single day, but I'm just not gonna do that through chicken rice 6 times a day because you don't have to do that. I personally only ever eat meals that I enjoy because that way it's not a chore and it's actually very, very enjoyable. I look forward to all my food, all my meals throughout the day. I'm excited to eat them, and that makes the process so much easier. So those are the 5 main muscle building habits that I personally cannot live without. I highly recommend incorporating some of those into your daily routine and your life. My dog's going crazy in front of me right now, and they're letting you know you should probably watch this video here. And if you want my free takeout guide, just drop it. Just drop it. It's in the link below. It's been a long day. See you guys in the next one. Yeah, I know.